Australian furniture retailer Koala, famous for its signature mattresses and sustainability ethos, has faced a backlash for moving the manufacturing of some of its products to China. Koala is a Sydney-based company that found success by marketing itself to millennials through social media as an ethical and sustainable bedding option made in Australia. Following the announcement, Australians took to the company's Facebook page to complain about the decision. Many of the comments were questions about how Koala could remain environmentally sustainable or supportive of Australia once it moves manufacturing to China, which has been in the news recently over concerns that exploited Chinese labour may be used to build trains for Victoria. One person, Melanie Martin, wrote, "What's environmentally conscious about sending more freighters into the oceans or planes into the sky to deliver these products? I personally don't give a toss where a product is designed. I care where it's made." Another person, Tina Walters, wrote, "With the current climate, every business should be promoting Australian-made products. But I guess your bottom line is more important than helping Aussie families keep their current jobs with your company, and more about promoting slave labour with Chinese workers for more profits." Another questioned the decision to go to China instead of Taiwan, India, Bangladesh or Indonesia. Responding to the backlash, the company wrote on Facebook, "We hear you and understand." It wrote that it already sourced components from a global network of suppliers and manufacturers that it works with to bring its products to consumers across Australia and Japan, and wanted to consolidate its manufacturing in more strategically supportive locations. On Facebook it wrote, "Our rapid global growth has led to the decision to consolidate the manufacturing of a number of our products in more strategically supportive locations, creating synergies that will help to drive our continued growth across Asia-Pacific." On October the 12th, the spokesperson for Koala also told the Epoch Times that it would be doubling its workforce this financial year, creating an estimated 120 new jobs in Australia. The spokesperson didn't confirm how it would maintain sustainability in its products after the China move, but said, "We remain committed to bringing the best products and experiences to our customers." Started in 2015, Koala established itself as a retailer of Australian-made furniture with a strong focus on sustainability. It also became known for its competitive pricing, 4-hour delivery time, and conservation work with koalas and sea turtles. It is now worth about $500 million and has expanded its product base to include bed bases, linen, desks, and loungers. However, only 2 of its products, the mattresses and the desks, were made in Australia. According to News Corp The Australian, the company deregistered itself last year from using the Australian-made trademark.
After the United Kingdom issued a ban on Chinese graduate students from studying sensitive subjects at its universities, Japan also strengthened scrutiny of international student visas. Analysts believe these measures will be extended to the Five Eyes Alliance in other countries in the future. Japanese newspaper Yomiuri Shimbun reported on October 5th that Japan is stepping up its review of international student visas to prevent foreign interference and technology theft. The report explained that the key subjects of concern include laser technology, artificial intelligence, and frontier technologies that can be applied to military purposes. The new visa rules will protect sensitive technology and information from being transferred to other countries. Times newspaper also revealed that the United Kingdom is to implement stricter rules on October 1st about which subjects foreign students can study at its universities to prevent the theft of intellectual property by Chinese students. A list of 44 subjects will be under visa scrutiny, and they include areas related to cybersecurity, aircraft, artificial intelligence, and network security, among others. Even for those students already enrolled in a British school, their visas would be revoked if they were deemed to pose a risk. Xie Tian, a business professor at University of South Carolina Aiken, pointed out that Japan is a leading country in the world in frontier technology, and the United Kingdom used to have cooperative projects with Huawei. In the past 5 years, Huawei sponsored research projects in over 20 schools in the United Kingdom, likely for the purpose of stealing technology.
Japan and the United Kingdom are 2 major countries the CCP steal technology from. These two countries should certainly act in concert. This is especially true for Japan, as Japan is in a leading position in many fields. In some of these fields, its technology is even superior to the United States. Japan is an ally of the United States in Asia and a partner of the United States Indo-Pacific strategy. I think in the next step, all members of the Five Eyes Alliance and more European countries will follow suit.
Chen Chuang, director of the U.S.-based Independent Federation of Chinese Students and Scholars, IFCSS, believed that the United Kingdom and Japan are closely following the U.S. policies. Washington has canceled more than 1,000 Chinese student visas since June.
When the United States realized that the CCP, a totalitarian system, attempts to use the advanced technology it stole from developed countries to challenge the free world, the United States had no choice but to change its own policies. Now that Chinese students can no longer come to the United States to steal tech secrets, they will naturally turn to other countries with advanced technology. So these other countries will feel the pressure too, and will choose to follow the steps of the United States.
The United States has taken a series of actions against Chinese espionage so far, such as preventing the CCP's coercive corporate technology transfer, restricting the export of high-tech products and technology, forbidding Chinese students and researchers from working in the fields deemed sensitive. Xie Tian believes that these measures, combined with the trade war and technology war, have become part of the comprehensive global strategy to destroy the CCP.
These are part of the overall strategy, part of a global campaign to eliminate the CCP. Many of the industrial chains, when they first entered China, were forced to transfer technology to China. Their technologies were then plagiarized and imitated. The current measures, in fact, are a complete blockage of the CCP and a global campaign to destroy the CCP. They are said to prevent the CCP from profiting from export and import trade unfairly, and also make it impossible for the CCP to steal technology.
Chen Chuang warned Chinese students studying abroad not to cooperate with the CCP.
These students come to the United States to enjoy freedom and other benefits. However, as they have been brainwashed by the CCP, they want to make use of the knowledge they accumulated in the free world to help the CCP. That is, they plan to go back to China when they have completed their studies here. There are a huge number of such students. If these people can wake up, I think the United States is still open to them, as the United States has made it very clear in many policies. Even though there are visa restrictions to high-tech professionals, if refugees from China choose to abandon the CCP, these fields are still open to them.
Chen hopes that more Chinese students and scholars will completely give up their illusory hope of the CCP and choose to contribute their knowledge and creativity to the free world.
After the CCP banned the National Basketball Association for nearly a year, on October 10th, CCTV resumed broadcasting NBA games. What are the reasons behind the reversal of the CCP's attitude? Last October, Daryl Morey, the general manager of the Houston Rockets of the NBA, posted a picture on Twitter with the words, "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong," supporting Hong Kong's anti-extradition protests. This tweet immediately triggered one of the NBA's biggest business crises in China. Media platforms, including CCTV Sports Channel and Tencent Sports, all suspended their broadcast arrangements for the NBA preseason games. Attempting to force Morey to apologize, many Chinese companies and institutions have also withdrawn their capital, and e-commerce platforms have removed NBA-related products. According to a report by the Chicago Tribune, the Chinese market accounts for 10% of the NBA's annual revenue. A series of retaliative actions by the Chinese Communist Party have caused huge losses to the NBA. Famous NBA stars such as James Harden apologized to China subsequently. The NBA also made an official statement claiming that Morey's remarks were inappropriate, but it did not prevent the overwhelming criticism of the NBA from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, consulates, and the media of the Chinese Communist Party. Even Chinese companies have cut ties with the NBA. However, Morey still did not apologize. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, expressed his support for Morey, saying that Daryl Morey is supported in terms of his ability to exercise his freedom of expression. The behavior of the CCP has aroused dissatisfaction from all walks of life in the United States, including Vice President Mike Pence, Senator Marco Rubio, and other politicians who have all condemned the CCP's trampling on freedom of speech. This made the CCP's retaliation even more frenzied, and CCTV later announced the suspension of broadcasting NBA games. Chinese independent scholar Ge Bidong thinks that from banning to resuming NBA broadcasts, it has shown that the CCP has weaponized commercial interests, directly interfering with the freedom of speech in the United States and undermining the values of freedom and democracy.
时至今日
Today, the international community has thoroughly recognized the evil nature of the CCP. The tide of the destruction of communism in the world has taken shape. Thus, the CCP made small concessions, such as allowing the broadcaster of NBA games to show good to the international community. It does not reflect the CCP's heart of repentance. Its value system and evil nature have not fundamentally changed.
Ge Bidong believes that the CCP's actions to block the NBA and isolate the Chinese people from the world through internet firewalls have all demonstrated its totalitarian nature to the international community. Gao Yu, a former Xinhua news agency reporter and senior media professional, believes that some large companies such as the NBA and Hollywood all have been pleasing the CCP for their own interests. These companies are also working against the Trump administration. The CCP resumes NBA broadcasts now to help pro-CCP candidate Biden to win the U.S. presidential election next month.
Now, it suddenly resumes the broadcasts. I think it is to build momentum for the Democratic Party and for Biden to win. The Chinese Communist Party does whatever it wants. It can stop broadcasting NBA and it can resume it. Its principle is to let Trump lose. In my view, this is their principle.
In fact, NBA finals saw their lowest viewership in recorded rating history. Adam Silver believes that it may be because the NBA pays too much attention to issues such as Black Lives Matter, which has affected the audience's willingness to watch. But in an interview with CNN last month, Silver said that he would continue to promote the cooperation between the NBA and China, and said that we were exporting American values to China through the NBA.
We don't know what kind of deals they have with the CCP, but companies who are doing business with the CCP have to compromise in one way or another. China has a huge fan market. Now, the CCP is actually besieged on both sides, so they want to create an atmosphere using this to present a false picture of peace and prosperity.
However, CCTV suddenly announced that resuming broadcasting the NBA was to meet the needs of Chinese fans, causing dissatisfaction among Chinese netizens. Many people commented that the CCTV holds double standards. Netizens criticized that, in the beginning, you used national justice to urge us not to bow down. Now they haven't said a word, but you kneel down quickly for the money. Shame on you. Some netizens suspect that CCTV's decision is related to personnel appointments. On June 1st, the NBA China Board of Directors appointed Ma Xiaofei as the China chief executive. His father was the former director of CCTV Sports. Ge Bidong pointed out that the CCP's totalitarian system is based on the rule of man, so it often displays personal will in some major international affairs. From stopping to resuming broadcasting the NBA, it was not due to changes in the NBA, nor the changes in the CCP's value system. It was because CCP leaders changed their minds due to the pressure of the international community.
Brazil signed a contract with a Chinese company at the end of September to purchase CCP virus vaccines. It was exposed that the prices between the vaccines sold abroad and domestic vary greatly, triggering criticism from Chinese netizens. Chinese netizens shared a screenshot of Phoenix Media's official Weibo post on October 4th, in which they stated that China's Sinovac Biotech Limited signed a contract with Brazil to provide 46 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. It is the first time in China's history to export vaccines overseas. Netizens marked the price of the vaccine specifically with a red underline, $2 per dose, $4 for 2 doses. This post and its reposts were quickly deleted. The price is in sharp contrast to a report that Phoenix Media published in September, which said that the domestic price of the COVID-19 vaccine was $45 per dose and $90 for 2 doses, more than 20 times higher than the price for Brazil. Netizens left comments expressing their dissatisfaction, saying China has a population of 1.5 billion and vaccines are in short supply, but this company sells the vaccines to Brazil at a fraction of the price. If this is not traitorous, then what is it? The price difference is more than $30. Who's earning it? When the people can be treated as human beings, society will progress. These comments were quickly deleted. Commentators believe that the price of exported vaccines not only reflects China's export policy, but also reveals the CCP's considerations on vaccine diplomacy.
从出口经济来看，
From the perspective of the export economy, to earn foreign exchange has always been the CCP's main purpose. So it will sell products at extremely low prices. What the Chinese Communist Party wants to obtain is foreign exchange reserves. Then, of course, exporting vaccines is not just trade, but vaccine diplomacy.
The CCP itself also hopes to win relations with other countries through vaccine diplomacy. The CCP will keep the prices low, even if it loses money, because the CCP wants to seize the market and win diplomatic relations.
It's not the first time that China's high vaccine prices have become a topic. A report from the BBC Chinese website said that the known price for a single dose of the CCP virus vaccine ranges from $3 to $45. Among the current vaccine markets, the single most expensive vaccine comes from China National Pharmaceutical Group, also known as Sinopharm, a Chinese state-owned enterprise. On the contrary, the U.S. government plans to lock in vaccine procurement at a government-negotiated price and give out free vaccinations. In addition, the Japanese Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare recently decided that the CCP virus vaccination costs will be fully borne by the state, and the national relief system will apply if the vaccination causes health hazards.
对于中国畸形的医疗体制来说呢，
Chinese labour is worthless in China's deformed medical system. Doctors rely on the pharmaceutical industry to earn money. The CCP is making money out of every step of producing medicines, so it is very possible that the low-cost medicine will eventually be sold tens or even hundreds of times more than its cost.
Sean Lin, PhD, pointed out that the development and production of the CCP virus vaccine is actually all related to the Chinese Communist government.
CanSino Biologics is owned by the military, and Sinopharm is under the ASAC of the State Council. It is a state-owned company that produces and sells vaccines. Many companies are actually owned or controlled by the CCP, so the vaccines are made by the government, and the government sells them to the people. If the CCP issues an administrative order requiring everyone to be vaccinated, isn't it the same as forcibly selling the vaccine to you? The CCP can set the price however much it wants to.
It is worth noting that none of the 3 vaccines currently developed in China have completed Phase 3 clinical trials, but officials have given hundreds of thousands of injections, including to 90% of Sinovac Biotech's employees and their families. According to Guangdong News, the state of Sao Paulo, Brazil, will receive the first batch of 46 million doses of vaccines from Sinovac as early as December this year.
这个疫苗如果出现问题的话，
If there is a problem with vaccines, the possible mortality disability rate, or sequelae, is likely to be more harmful than the infectious disease itself. The CCP has never successfully developed a single vaccine on its own in history.
The vaccine being provided to Brazil was jointly developed by Sinovac Biotech and the Instituto Butantan, a Brazilian biologic research center. Phase 3 clinical trials to ensure the effectiveness of the vaccine have not been completed in Brazil. Reuters previously reported that Sinovac Biotech also intends to provide Instituto Butantan with semi-finished products for filling and packaging, and then supply them to other South American countries.